Hey, this is Matt Wenning at WenningStrength.com. Today, we're going to talk about Gold's Gym in California. It's one of my favorite places to train, and we'll go into some good stories on training with the legend Mike O'Hearn and the other legends that I've seen at the gym. So let's get to it. So, one of the first times that I go to California, I'm actually there on a motorcycle trip. So for those of you that don't know me, back in the day, from about 2007 or 8 till about 2019, I would take cross-country motorcycle rides. Well, this particular motorcycle ride started in Los Angeles, and I was like, well, let's train at the original Gold's Gym. Just down the road is Muscle Beach, which was totally amazing. Now, keep in mind, at Muscle Beach, at that particular area, they don't really keep up with it much anymore. The equipment's kind of ran down. But it was super nostalgic to be able to lift where I feel strength training really evolved, or at least started in the West, in the United States, was from that Arnold Schwarzenegger period, the late 60s, early 70s of bodybuilding. So I drive in, go to the Gold's Gym, and it's huge. I mean, it's got every piece of equipment you can imagine. Some of the stuff was there when Arnold was training, like very old stuff. Doesn't mean it's bad, it just means that it's old. But there's a lot of super big legends that work out there. Obviously, Arnold Schwarzenegger works out there. Ran into him a couple of times, and we'll get to some stories on that. But one of the guys that I got introduced to over at Westside Barbell was a guy named Chris Bell. Now, that's Mark Bell's brother. He directed Bigger, Faster, Stronger, Leap of Faith. He's been around lifting a long time, and they're pretty good friends with Joe Rogan and that kind of stuff. So I walk in, and this has been 2007 or so. I was close to being close to or at the top of the multiply lifting game. And Chris Bell introduces me to the strongest guy that they have at Gold's Gym. Now, this is the legendary Mike O'Hearn. Now, for those of you guys that don't know Mike O'Hearn, me and him are really good friends. He has been on American Gladiators, both the first and the second series. And he has been around lifting for a very, very long time. The guy was the same body weight I was graduating high school, although his body composition was absolutely amazing at 18 years old. He is a very driven person as far as making sure that people understand that he's got great genetics and he's drug-free, which is completely amazing that he's able to do that. So Chris Bell introduces me to Mike O'Hearn, and we start talking and whatever, and Mike O'Hearn's kind of testing me out to see if I'm the real deal. So we go into squatting, and we're doing safety bar squats. We're doing Hatfield squats where the bar is attached to the rack, and we got the bar on our back so we don't have to balance it out of a safety bar, and we're squatting down to a low box. We go up to 4 plates for like 5, and we're talking a 12-inch box. Now, keep in mind, Mike O'Hearn and I are both 6'1" to 6'2". So a 12-inch box is insanely deep. We go up to 5 plates. Mike O'Hearn hangs with me for 5 reps. I do 5 reps. O'Hearn stays around the 5-plate range. I jump to 6 plates and do it for 5. Now, automatically, because I don't have any equipment on and I'm a geared lifter, O'Hearn had a massive amount of respect for me. So after that point, we the guard was off. We were all super cool. He started introducing me to a bunch of people. Well, the next thing I see is Arnold Schwarzenegger walks in, right? Completely blown away. Guy is a legend, and he's already close to 70 years old at the time. He walks in with like 5 to 6 dudes. I have no idea who they are. They don't look like they lift weights. They look like they're mostly to socialize. And I go up and talk to Mike O'Hearn. O'Hearn introduces me to Arnold, and I'm like, hey, Arnold, how are you? Nice to meet you. And he's like, how are you? You're very big, strong power lifter, blah, blah, blah. I'm talking with Mike, and I don't talk to him very long the first time. So Mike and I go finish our training, and I come back, and I'm like, Mike, who are these guys? Who are these douchebags hanging out with Arnold that why would he even train with those guys? And he's like, well, one of those dudes invented Siri, and the other dude is James Cameron that directed, Terminator and all this other stuff. And I'm just thinking, oh my gosh, like there I go opening up my mouth, right? So after we became good friends, I actually brought O'Hearn. He was here for the Arnold Classic probably in 2017. He wants to do my workout. So when I go out to Venice, I usually train with Mike, and I do Mike's workouts. But when Mike was here, he kind of returned a favor, and he wanted to do my workout. And I thought it was interesting because I didn't know if Mike O'Hearn could handle the powerlifting style of training, right? The speed work and the max work, the stuff that we do that's really hard. I mean, yeah, O'Hearn's good at reps, but is he really good at maxing or speed? And what I didn't realize is that although not really was I super impressed with his bar speed on the dynamic effort day, he was able to sustain and actually beat me with reps. And what do I mean by that? We did a failure set on speed work. We had 185 pounds on the bar, 120 pounds of chain, and a double red band. So we're talking 120 in chain, 100 pounds in band tension, and 185. That's 385 pounds roughly, around 400 pounds right at the top of this weight. We decided to do a burnout set and kind of go back into Michael Hearn's wheelhouse. I got 25 and O'Hearn got 29 or 30. I mean, just absolutely insane. To be able to do 30 reps with 405, and he was nearly 50 years old at the time. That shows you the level of strength, conditioning, and he was doing this lean. He was going to do a guest appearance bodybuilding show within the next 2 to 3 days at the Arnold Classic. He was shredded at around 6, maybe 5, 6, 7% body fat, and he beat me at my own game. So if you guys are interested in this video, go on the website and download the Powerbuilding Manual. Powerbuilding Manual has an entire month training cycle of Michael Hearn and the type of loading parameters that he uses to train. I've learned so much from Mike, not only on diet, but also on different loading parameters I would have never thought of that came from very extreme sides of bodybuilding. So if you're into bodybuilding or you're into that style of training, an aesthetic style, the Hypertrophy Manual and the Powerbuilding Manual will be huge proponents for you to not only train harder, but do it smarter.